Over the past few months, I have changed living arrangements. I now live in a big house with roommates instead of by myself. And because I'm often in my room, instead of wandering the whole house, I have all my video game consoles in my bedroom. Now, because I had all my video game consoles in the living room at my old house, I instinctively trained myself just to play my PlayStation 5, mostly because it was my YouTube box and a gaming device at the same time. I'd occasionally hook up my PS3 and play it. I never played my Vita, I never played my 3DS, I didn't even have a 3DS battery for over a year, but I would just primarily play my PlayStation 5 because, I can watch YouTube on this because I have no Roku TV, and then I can go play games. However, with this move, I've been inspired because of some of my favorite content creators, some of the games coming out recently, to go back and replay some games I had on Xbox 360, but on PS3, because my brother had a PS3 growing up, and I figured, hey, I should go back and re-experience games I used to play, or play games I never got to play, on my PS3. And it led me down a strange rabbit hole where I, over the past few months, truly believe that the PS3 is one of the best consoles you can get in 2025. Probably the best legacy console you can get at the moment. Now, every single point I have in this video is very much personal and very much biased. However, I feel as if it still doesn't take away from the points. I have 3 major points I want to get into on why I think the PS3 is one of the greatest consoles you can get in today's day and age. And I feel a big reason as to why the PlayStation 3 is such a great console you can play in today's day and age is because of the games and how relatively cheap and unique PlayStation 3 games are. Now, the PlayStation 3 is part of the generation that had a lot of gray and brown first-person shooters, which I personally adore. There's a bunch on the console I haven't played yet, haven't replayed Call of Duty Black Ops 2, haven't played the Resistance games yet, haven't played Killzone 3 yet, even though I own it. I like first-person shooters because they're short, simple, and fun. And the PlayStation 3 has a bunch of first-person shooters that are dirt cheap to play nowadays. My go-to example is Call of Duty Black Ops. That is a game where you can still get into public multiplayer lobbies without a struggle. It's kind of crazy how many things you can do in that game in modern day. You can download DLC off the PlayStation 3 store, which is a thing that's still up. Most people don't know that you can still download stuff off the PS3 store. It's a very weird workaround, but you can download the DLC, like I did for Call of Duty Black Ops, like the Moon map. And with Moon, I can actually play Moon with people online. There are people still playing most of the DLC maps, which is really cool. Not only that, most of the Call of Duty games are still very well populated. Call of Duty Modern Warfare 2 is populated, World at War is populated. There's a problem where a bunch of fat, lonely virgins hack in the games, but hey, those are 3 games right there, and that's not even including all the Call of Duty games I haven't played on PS3 recently. That's also not including other first-person shooters, like Homefront, which you can get for like $5. The multiplayer servers are down. However, a game with active multiplayer servers that's about the same price, it's even better in every single way imaginable, is Battlefield 3. You can still get into multiplayer matches. Now, I haven't beat the campaign fully yet, and I haven't played Battlefield 4 or 1, so I have no idea how it compares to those 2 games, but I do think that Battlefield 3 is one of the most fun multiplayer experiences you can play casually every once in a while. I still do it. I'll still go back and play like an hour-long game every few months. And that's not including the Sony exclusives. Now, I'm going to be honest, I haven't played many Sony exclusives. I've played like the first 10 minutes of Infamous. Yeah. However, a game I've played a lot of is Little Big Planet Karting, which is a shockingly great Mario Kart alternative. Now, I'm not really the biggest fan of Mario. I've never really liked the aesthetic. I think Scott the Waz put it best when he said that like a 3DS looked like Mario lunchbox, but no, all Mario games look like a 4th grader's lunchbox. But I'm not really a fan of the Mario aesthetic because of that, so I tend to look for alternatives in other gaming series, like Sonic Plus All-Stars Racing Transformed. That's an awesome racing game. I'm so excited for Sonic Racing's Crossworld. That's going to be a day 1 pickup for me. And because there's not many good kart racers on the PlayStation 4 and PlayStation 5 specifically, at least at the moment, I have been playing a lot of Little Big Planet Karting, which sadly all the multiplayer servers have been shut down. However, there's still kart customization, there's really neat character customization, stuff you can unlock by playing the main campaign, and the main campaign is really damn fun. It follows what you'd expect from a kart racer campaign, but that's kind of what makes it genius. The only flip it has on its head is you can play battle modes like things from Mario Kart, except they're main missions and that's how you end worlds. Besides that, it's just your typical racing game. There's items, the graphics look nice, they look really nice, the drifting is actually really good to control. Map design is really cool, I like how varied the maps are, there's a lot of them. And at the end of the day, it's a good split-screen co-op experience. Now, it obviously doesn't beat Mario Kart, but do you really always need Mario Kart? If someone doesn't have a Nintendo console and they don't want to play Little Big Planet Karting because it's not Mario Kart, then they're probably a bitch and you probably shouldn't invite them over to begin with. However, my friends aren't bitches, nor am I, and that's why I'm interested in playing a bunch of brand new games I haven't gotten to play on the PS3 yet, like The Last of Us. I love The Last of Us Part 1 on PS5, I want to play the PS3 version. I want to play Catherine, which I own. I want to play Killzone, the Resistance game. I want to end up playing through Battlefield 1 all the way. I want to end up playing Ico and Shadow of the Colossus. I also want to play a game called Toro Let's Party, which is a Japanese exclusive game that follows the PlayStation mascot in Japan. His name is Toru Inu, and he's a cat, and he has a perpetual colon 3 face, and I want to hug him. However, if a console has multiplayer games like Call of Duty and Little Big Planet Karting, even though you can't access the multiplayer anymore, you obviously need good online servers. And while Sony's online servers aren't the best, they do function and they do work well. It's one of those things where the actual atmosphere and aesthetic behind the PlayStation 3 is one of those that just can't be beat. Something crazy to remember about the PS3 is you could use Spotify on the console until 2024. You can still watch Netflix and YouTube on the console. Actually, that's how I watched YouTube back when I didn't have a smart TV. Not only that, it's got messages, which I understand every console's got messages, but you can send image attachments. Not only that, you can email yourself images. You can download images to the console. You can also download videos and music, so if you want to watch your own movies on PlayStation, you can, because it's a multimedia hub. But back to my main point, the console's got a bunch of interesting online features, such as the fact that if you buy a PS3 game that is also on PS4 and PS5, you get that version on PS3 with the PS4 and PS5 version, but if you buy it on PS4 or PS5, you don't get the PS3 version, which is just fucking crazy. So is the fact that your PlayStation 3, 4, Vita, and 5 all have synced trophy lists. So if you earn a trophy on your PlayStation 3 account, you'll still be able to see it on your PlayStation 5 and your Vita and your PS4, which is just so fucking cool. The console has a lot of very weird quirks as well, such as the fact that the panels on the PlayStation Vita, depending on how you set your panel, you can make your profile color very different. You can make it a color that's not normally there. In fact, the actual profile screen is really cool. I like how it displays all your trophies. You can look through your trophy data rather easily, and you have a message that you can just put on your profile. Mine says Alexa, play Merzbow, and it said that for like half a decade, and I think that's really funny and cute. Not only that, another really important thing to remember about the PS3 is how customizable the UI is. You can download official UI mods that are supported through Sony through the console itself. I personally have a picture that I took years ago, and that's been my wallpaper for over half a decade. Not only that, I bought a Persona 5 theme, so I have the actual icons that sound like Persona 5. On my Japanese account, I bought I think it was an Evangelion theme, so all the avatars and shit are based off Evangelion in my Japanese account. I meant to say icons, but speaking of avatars, you can actually buy exclusive avatars that are exclusive to the PlayStation 3 store. There's no other way you can get certain avatars. Now, you can no longer get stuff like the Danganronpa avatars, but you can still get interesting stuff. There's exclusive Guilty Gear avatars, exclusive Senran Kagura, there's Grand Theft Auto avatars that have never been ported, there are God of War avatars that have never been ported, stuff like that, which is just, it's really cool that you can still access those, and it's only available on a legacy console. Now, those are all fine and dandy points. However, I have the most important point that you cannot argue with. This is why the PlayStation 3 is the best console to play in 2025. It's very nostalgic, and it reminds me of my early years of watching my brother play his PS3. It reminds me of all my favorite childhood experiences. I forgot to mention it earlier, I played Sonic Generations. Always wanted to play that as a kid. Actually got around to playing it, plus it got me into the Sonic series. I have games like Call of Duty, which my brother used to play. I own a game like Dante's Inferno and Star Wars The Force Unleashed. I had the second Star Wars The Force Unleashed. I remember watching my brother play Dante's Inferno. There's a bunch of Call of Duty DLC that you can still play. You can still play active lobbies with people. Not only that, the actual UI, the actual interface, the messaging system, all of that reminds me of a very special moment in my childhood, a very special place that I like to retreat to, and that's what the PlayStation 3 is great at. It's great at reminding me and humbling myself at, oh hey, I'm an adult, I'm 23 years old, but can still enjoy the things I enjoyed when I was 10, 11, 12, 13. And honestly, that's all you need from a console. Plus, given how cheap the console is, because you can get it for like $120 used, and considering all the games you can play on it, considering the fact you can still buy DLC, considering how customizable the user interface is, I do think that truly, if you're gaming on a budget and only have $200 to get a modern gaming console, you don't get a modern gaming console, because the PlayStation 4 would be too expensive with all the accessories and games. At that point, just get a PS3, buy yourself a second PS3 remote, and just play a bunch of games. I think the PS3, if you're playing on a budget and want to play a PlayStation console, is the best console you can get in 2025. But ultimately, that's just my take. I truly love the PS3. It is probably a top 3 console of all time, behind the PS4 and Vita, which are my top 2. Jesus Christ, I'm a Sony fanboy. But if you guys found this video interesting, please throw me a like. If you guys are interested in more content like this, then please throw me a subscription. Subscriptions are free. You can unsubscribe whenever you want. Did you guys agree that the PlayStation 3 is the best console you can get in 2025? Did you guys disagree and think the console was outdated in 2008? Or are you here to leave a dislike? No matter what you're here for, why not like, comment, no one can favorite, and please subscribe to my YouTube channel. This has been TevoBend. Thank you for watching. I appreciate you guys watching the TevoBend Season 3 season premiere. Have a wonderful day, everyone. Take care.